If you're following That First Heard, you might know Amber's got a friend named Eve Barlow. Some people say Eve's a journalist, some people say Eve's romantic with Amber, but whatever it is, Eve does not stop defending Amber on Twitter, and now Eve is attacking Ben Shapiro. Ben made a video about Amber. I'll get into the main highlights of the video, and I don't think Eve liked it. I found about 90% to be dead on and things the Johnny community has been saying for a long time. So she says, so I see Ben Shapiro has put together another one of his anti-Amber Heard news packages, aka clickbait, and legitimately reports without any evidence that Amber has been seeing defecating in public. Has Johnny Depp's PR team run out of real journalists? Embarrassing. Well, there was some footage going around people thought was Amber making a duty in the streets of Spain. Now, the thing is, the video I think was about 8 minutes. And he does mention that towards the end, but that's not the main point of the video. That's not on the thumbnail or anything. That's just a quick mention. And by the way, if you call something clickbait, tell people why it's clickbait. Don't just say something's clickbait. What Ben was doing was mostly debunking Amber's statement about how difficult it was to drop the appeal. And what Ben said was it wasn't difficult, it was an easy decision because it got out of paying money. Now, you might like Ben Shapiro, you might not like Ben Shapiro, I'm not sure, but I've been watching him a long time, and what he says about Amber I find to be about 90% accurate. Sometimes here and there, he'll play both sides, but it's the vast majority of the content is against Amber. And he tries to be objective in a lot of cases. It's usually from his point of view, the objectivity, but he tries to be objective. And this one here was from Christmas Eve, it looks like. Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire, literally the only media company in the world spinning Amber Heard's settlement story into misogynist clickbait. Amber Heard, the gift that keeps on giving. Not much longer for you all. Your grift is running dry. Real Daily Wire a-holes. Sure, look, at a certain point, people just aren't going to be watching videos about Amber. But it's like Michael Jackson, O.J. Simpson, whoever else is in the news like that. It's permanent now. It's not just something that's going to go away. It's going to get smaller. At some point, it will completely neutralize to a plateau, but it will always be there. I keep going back to the Star Wars franchise. There are people who do not like the Disney franchise of Star Wars, like myself, but we're over it. It's long gone. We're not mad, we're not triggered when we see bad Star Wars anymore, but we will be around to pitch in our opinion on social media, on YouTube, online in general, just to say this is not a good product. In the same way, you'll probably be there forever if Amber Heard pops up in Aquaman 2, whatever it is, to say, hey, that's the woman that abused Johnny Depp. You know, I can't watch her. I probably won't see this movie or whatever. It's not something that's going to go away completely forever and get back to normal for her. That's the facts. Hope you make it to your retirement plan after capitalizing on a woman's pain, real moral compass you got there. So I mean, look, the Daily Wire content is like 0.001% Amber. Ben makes an Amber video about every 2 weeks or something. He's a political guy. He doesn't really make that many Amber videos, but he will call out big things in pop culture he sees that are wrong. And in this case, like we know, Amber was pretty wrong with most things. And here's what Ben said about Amber. I simplified it a little bit, but everything here is from Ben Shapiro himself. Number 1, called Amber a crazy person. Does anybody disagree? Number 2, called Amber a congenial liar. Does anyone disagree? Number 3, says dropping the appeal was easy when Amber said it was difficult, which I appreciate because I haven't heard too many people frame it just like that. People talked about, that she did it, the money, but not so much calling out the decision making, which Ben does. Number 4, mentioned the I'm hitting you, not punching you line. That's true. That was from court. Any clickbait so far? Not really. Number 5, said Amber chose her situation by writing the op-ed. So, some things he said, obviously we've known a long time, but I wouldn't exactly classify them as clickbait. Number 6, called out Amber for using the term my truth, which also I agree with. My truth generally says Well, I know it's true even if you prove me wrong, or even if you say something logical that goes against my truth, I know it's true. So I don't like that phrase so much myself. And number 7, and by the way, like I said, simplified here. He probably said 15 to 20 things before getting to my number 7, mentioned alleged footage of Amber pooping in the streets of Spain. Now here's the thing. That footage got out, and you know what? When fake news gets out, usually we call it out pretty quick. Good example, Joseph Morris got called out, and his stuff got called out fast when it was really fake. But this, there wasn't so much dispute around whether it was real or not, so I would lean towards it being real. Can't say for sure, but it's worth thinking about. And also, as we know, Amber's got a little history of not using exactly the right facilities when you're doing that kind of thing. I'm sure not everyone here likes Ben Shapiro for his political stuff, but I really think after watching him for a while cover this case that 90% of what he says is on Johnny's side, and the vast majority of Johnny fans would agree with Ben on this specific issue. I also will note his video is going towards 700,000 views, which is pretty good. It's surpassing some of his political stuff. I should say most of his political stuff, actually. I'm sure this probably annoyed Eve. When she saw Ben put this up, she had to tweet about it on Christmas Eve, no matter what was going on. She has to pitch in her opinion. You guys, let me know what you think down below. Doing shoutouts, special thanks, things like that. Once again, I'll link Ben's video down below so you could double check my info. Make sure I got it right, which I'm pretty sure I did. And if you're not subscribed here, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.